I need to get this off my chest because it's been 3 months and I can't shake it. Maybe writing it down will help, or maybe someone else has seen what I'm seeing and can tell me I'm not going insane. I drive nights exclusively, have for 8 years now. Less traffic, cooler temperatures, better pay differential. The downside is you see some weird stuff when most of the world is sleeping, but I thought I'd seen it all. Drunk drivers, sleepwalkers on the interstate, UFO nuts flagging you down, typical night shift stuff. This started back in June. I was hauling furniture from North Carolina to Phoenix, running I-40 through Tennessee around 2:30 a.m. Traffic was practically non-existent, which is how I like it. That's when I first spotted the patrol car in my mirrors. Nothing unusual about that. Cops work nights too, and they love following trucks, waiting for us to screw up. So I checked my speed. 64 and a 65, perfect, and kept driving. The cruiser stayed about a quarter-mile back, just far enough that I couldn't make out the department markings, but close enough that I knew it was there. After about 20 minutes, I started getting that itch you get when someone's been following too long. I slowed down to 60, moved to the right lane, basically did everything short of pulling over to let him pass. But the cruiser just stayed back there, matching my speed, matching my lane changes. That's when I grabbed my binoculars. Yeah, I keep a pair for checking DOT numbers and reading signs. I adjusted my side mirror to get a better angle and focused on the patrol car. The windshield was dark. Not tinted, dark, like there was nothing behind it. I figured it was just the angle or maybe the reflection of their light bar was blocking my view, but when I looked again a few minutes later, same thing. I could see the hood, the roof, the light bar, even make out the general shape of a patrol car, but the windshield was just empty black. I tried the CB radio. "Breaker 19, this is Big Dog, eastbound on I-40 around mile marker 340. Got a smoky behind me, you might want to make a move." Nothing, not even static. The patrol car followed me for another 2 hours, through 3 counties, past 2 real highway patrol cars that were working actual traffic stops, past a way station where I could see state troopers sitting in their vehicles with their dome lights on, clearly human shapes. But this one behind me, still just that black windshield. I thought maybe I was losing it. Too much caffeine, not enough sleep, road fatigue making me see things, so I decided to test it. I took exit 196 toward Cookeville, a route I know like the back of my hand. The patrol car took the exit too. I drove through town, made 4 right turns in a perfect square, came back to the same intersection. The cruiser followed every turn, never getting closer, never falling back. When I got back on I-40, it was right there behind me again. At my delivery in Phoenix, I asked the dock supervisor if he could see the patrol car parked across the street. There was nothing there. He looked at me like I was having a stroke. But I could still see it, parked under a streetlight, engine running, at same black windshield staring at nothing. That was 3 months ago, and it's happened on every single run since then. Different routes, different states, doesn't matter. Somewhere around midnight, that patrol car shows up in my mirrors, always keeping the same distance, always with that empty windshield. I've tried everything. Changed routes mid-trip, pulled into truck stops and waited hours, even took surface streets instead of interstates. Nothing works. It finds me. Last week I decided to get creative. I was running from Denver to Nashville, and when the patrol car showed up around 1 a.m. in Kansas, I was ready. I had my phone set up to record, binoculars ready, even borrowed a friend's dash cam that records behind you. For 2 hours, I documented everything. The patrol car maintaining exactly 250 yards behind me, matching every lane change, every speed adjustment. On my phone screen, I could see it clear as day. But when I reviewed the footage later at a truck stop, there was nothing there, just empty highway behind me. The really messed up part is other drivers can see it too, but only sometimes. 3 weeks ago, I was talking to another driver at a fuel stop in Oklahoma. Ray has been driving longer than I've been alive, seeing everything twice. I mentioned the patrol car, and his face went white. "You see him too? The one with no driver?" Turns out Ray's been seeing the same thing for 6 months, but only on runs through the Southwest. Different car, though. This is a sheriff's deputy vehicle, white with green stripes, same black windshield, same following behavior. We compared notes. Both cars only appear at night. Both maintain the same distance. Both disappear at dawn, but show up again the next night if you're still driving. Ray told me about a driver named Martinez who used to see a state trooper car. Used to. Martinez quit driving trucks last month and took a job at a warehouse. Ray heard he couldn't handle the stress anymore. That got me thinking. I started asking around at truck stops, real casual-like. You'd be surprised how many drivers have stories about phantom patrol cars. Most won't talk about it openly, but get a few beers in them and they'll admit it. There's Peterson, who sees a black and white that follows him through Texas. Williams gets followed by what looks like an unmarked detective car through the Midwest. Johnson swears a motorcycle cop follows him but only on I-95. All of them describe the same thing, that black windshield where a driver should be. I did some research, tried to find patterns or explanations, found stories about ghost cars dating decades, always involving truck drivers, always on interstates at night. Some drivers say it started after accidents or near misses. Others can't remember when it began. The weird thing is, we all keep driving. You'd think seeing a phantom police car every night would make you want to find a new job, but it doesn't. If anything, it becomes routine. You know it's there, you know it's not real, but you also know that it's not going to hurt you. It's almost like it's watching over us, making sure we stay awake, stay alert, stay safe. I've had 2 situations in the past month where I might have dozed off, but seeing those headlights in my mirror kept me focused. Last night was different, though. I was running through Nevada, that same stretch where I first started noticing things getting weird for truckers, and the patrol car was there as usual. But when I looked in my mirror around 3 a.m., the windshield wasn't black anymore. I could see a shape behind the wheel, just a silhouette, but definitely human, and for just a second I swear it raised its hand and waved at me. I waved back without thinking about it. The car was gone when I looked again, and it didn't come back that night. Haven't seen it since. Maybe I passed some kind of test. Maybe I'm done with whatever this was about. Or maybe it's just getting started. All I know is I miss those headlights in my mirror. The highway feels a lot lonelier without them.
Look, I'm going to tell you something that's been eating at me for 3 weeks now, and I need someone else to know about it because I'm starting to think I'm losing my damn mind. I've been driving trucks for 15 years, cross-country hauls mostly. I know every truck stop from Seattle to Miami, every way station, every speed trap. I thought I'd seen it all. Hell, I thought I knew everything there was to know about this job. 3 weeks ago, I was hauling a load of electronics from Reno to Cleveland. Nothing special, just another run. It was around 2 a.m. when I saw him on I-80, just outside of Winnemucca, Nevada. You know how it is out there, nothing but desert and darkness for miles. This guy was just standing on the shoulder with his thumb out, wearing jeans and a flannel shirt like he was heading to work at some factory in 1975. Now, I don't usually pick up hitchhikers. Company policy says don't, insurance says don't, common sense says don't. But something about this guy? I don't know. Maybe it was because he looked so normal, so harmless. Middle-aged, average height, kind of thin. The kind of guy you'd see at a diner and forget 5 minutes later. So I pulled over. He climbed up into the passenger seat, said his name was Danny, and that he was trying to get to Columbus. Perfect. That was right on my route. He was polite, quiet, Didn't smell bad or seem crazy. We talked a little about the weather, about trucking, normal road conversation stuff. Here's the thing though, and this is where it gets weird. I remember dropping him off. I remember it clear as day. We got to Columbus around 6 p.m. 2 days later. I pulled into a truck stop just off I-70, and he thanked me, shook my hand, and got out. I watched him walk toward the main road in my side mirror. That was it. Normal pickup, normal ride, normal drop-off. Except when I got back in the cab after fueling up and doing my inspection, Danny was sitting right there in the passenger seat. Again. "I thought you got out already," I said, trying to keep it light. Maybe he'd forgotten something, needed a ride a little further. He just looked at me with this confused expression and said, "What do you mean? We haven't gotten to Columbus yet." I stared at him. "Danny, buddy, we're in Columbus. This is the Flying J off I-70. You got out 20 minutes ago." He shook his head slowly. "No, that's not right. We're still in Nevada. We haven't even hit Utah yet." That's when I really looked around. The truck stop looked different. The signs were different. Everything was wrong. But my GPS said Columbus, Ohio. My logbook said I'd driven 2,100 miles over 2 days. My fuel receipts from 3 different states were sitting right there on my dashboard. I tried to stay calm. Maybe the guy had some kind of memory problem, or maybe I was more tired than I thought. "Look, Danny, I need to make a phone call," I said. I got out and called my dispatcher to confirm delivery. Yep, electronics delivered to Cleveland, on schedule, everything normal on their end. When I got back in the cab, Danny was gone. I figured that was the end of it. Strange, but whatever. People are weird and the road makes them weirder. But the next morning, when I picked up a load in Toledo, heading for Denver, Danny was in my cab again. Same clothes, same confused look, like nothing had happened. "Morning," he said, like we just met. "I'm Danny. I'm trying to get to Columbus." My hands started shaking. "Danny, buddy, we already did this. I dropped you off yesterday in Columbus." "I don't know what you're talking about, friend. I've been walking along I-80 in Nevada for, well, I don't rightly remember how long." This time, I pulled over immediately and got out. I walked around the truck, checked everything. Ohio plates on the trailer, Toledo in my rearview mirror, heading west on I-80 towards Indiana. Everything exactly where it should be. Danny was still there when I got back in, still confused, still talking about Nevada and Columbus like he'd never been anywhere else. That was 2 weeks ago. He's been with me on every single run since then. Phoenix to Portland, he was there. Seattle to Jacksonville, there he was, asking about Columbus. He never remembers anything past that night in Nevada. Never remembers our conversations, never remembers being in my cab before. I've tried everything. I've tried not picking him up, but somehow he's always already in the passenger seat when I start my truck. I've tried taking different routes, different loads, even took a week off and flew home to see my wife. When I got back to my truck at the terminal, Danny was sitting there waiting. "I am trying to get to Columbus," he always says. The really messed up part is I've driven through Columbus 6 more times since that first drop-off. Each time Danny gets out, each time I watch him walk away, and each time he's back the next morning with no memory of it ever happening. My dispatcher says my logs are fine, my deliveries are on time, everything normal. My wife says I sound stressed, but not crazy.
The other drivers at truck stops can see him. They wave, make small talk about the weather. He's real, he's there, but he's stuck in some kind of loop that only I seem to notice. Last night, I tried something different. Instead of going along with it, I asked him directly, "Danny, what's the last thing you remember before I picked you up?" He got real quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I was driving home from work, night shift at the plant. It was snowing pretty bad and He stopped talking and just stared out the windshield. "And what, Danny?" "I don't remember," he whispered. "I just remember being cold and then walking, and then you picked me up." I looked it up when we stopped for the night. There was a Danny Morrison who died in a car accident on I-80 near Winnemucca in January 1987. 38 years old, worked night shift at a factory, was driving home in a snowstorm when he lost control and hit a guardrail. The anniversary was 3 weeks ago. I don't know what to do. I can't get rid of him, and I can't help him. Every morning, he's there, trying to get home. Every evening, he gets out and walks away, only to forget it ever happened. I'm starting to think maybe I'm supposed to help him somehow. But I don't know how. All I know is that Danny's been trying to get home for 37 years, and I'm the only one who seems to understand that he's never going to make it. But I keep driving, and he keeps trying, and maybe that's enough for now.
I've been driving trucks for 12 years. Long hauls, short runs, day shifts, night shifts. I've done them all. Most of my routes are on the East Coast, from Pennsylvania down to North Carolina, sometimes as far as Georgia. I know the highways like the back of my hand. The night I'm talking about was mid-November. Cold, but not freezing. Clear skies. I was hauling a load of construction supplies from Lancaster, PA to Richmond, Virginia. I'd done this run dozens of times. I left the yard around 9 p.m. after my usual pre-trip inspection. Tires, lights, fluids, all good. I had my coffee in the cup holder, the radio tuned to an oldies station. The I-83 was almost empty, which is normal at that hour. About an hour in, I merged onto I-95 South, barely any traffic. Every so often I'd see a truck heading north, but behind me, nothing. I checked my mirrors a few times, just darkness and a faint glow way back in the distance. Around midnight, I was in a rural stretch of Maryland. No street lights, just my headlights cutting through the dark. Then I noticed something in the mirror. Headlights. Far back at first, then closing in fast. I figured it was a pickup or maybe an SUV, but the lights were high, like another truck. No engine roar, no aggressive weaving, just steady, closing distance until they were maybe 60 feet behind me. Then, they stayed there. No attempt to pass, no change in speed, just locked in behind me. I gave a quick wave out the window, then eased off the accelerator to see if they'd go around. They slowed down too, matching me, exactly. That's when I started feeling uneasy. I pulled my phone from the dash mount and opened Google Maps to check for the nearest truck stop. Closest one was 12 miles ahead. I decided to keep going. 5 minutes later, the headlights were gone. I mean, gone. One glance in the mirror, and there was nothing, just empty highway. I hadn't seen any exit ramps or turnoffs. I reached the truck stop, parked, and went inside for another coffee. While I was in line, a guy in a heavy work jacket looked at me and said, "I was behind you a few minutes ago, then you just disappeared." I froze. "Were you in that big black truck?"
I asked. "Yeah, I was trying to catch up, but you vanished. No exits there. I drive that stretch every week." I laughed it off, told him maybe he missed something. He shook his head. "There's nothing to miss. You were there, then you weren't." Back in my cab, I opened my company's tracking app. It logs every mile, every stop. According to the system, my truck had slowed to 40 miles per hour for about 2 minutes in that stretch, then sped back up. No location drop, no detour. I called dispatch. My supervisor said the GPS feed looked normal, but there was a signal gap right around midnight. Just a blank spot in the data. I finished the run to Richmond, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. 2 nights later, I was back on I-95, heading north this time. Same rural stretch, same hour. I kept checking my mirrors. Nothing. Then just past midnight, headlights appeared again. Same height, same steady approach. They closed in until they were right behind me. I tried something different. I pulled into the right lane and slowed down to 45. They stayed behind me. I hit the hazard lights. No reaction. I took the next exit, a small 2-lane road leading to a closed rest area. The truck followed. I pulled into the rest area lot. The other vehicle stopped about 50 feet back. I couldn't see the driver. The cab was dark. I stepped out, walked halfway toward them, and waved. Nothing. Then the headlights went off. I stood there in the dark, my breath visible in the cold air. After maybe 10 seconds, the truck backed up slowly, turned, and drove away down the exit road. When I got back in my cab, I locked the doors and sat there for a while. When I checked my dash cam footage later, the headlights were there, then gone. The camera didn't pick up the truck shape, just the lights. I sent the clip to my supervisor. He said it was probably another driver messing around, but when I asked if any of our trucks were in that area at the time, he said no. I started asking around at other stops. A couple of drivers said they'd had similar experiences, headlights appearing, following, then vanishing. One guy swore he saw his own truck number on the other vehicle's door. Last week, I was on the same route again. I told myself I wouldn't look in the mirrors so much, but just after midnight, I saw them. This time, I kept my speed, kept my lane. The lights stayed behind me for almost 15 minutes. Then, they moved into the left lane, pulled up alongside. I turned my head and saw my own cab. Same color, same company logo, same number. The driver looked straight ahead. I couldn't see his face. They passed me, pulled in front, and kept going. I followed for a mile, then 2. Then, without signaling, they took an exit I didn't recognize. I checked the map later. That exit doesn't exist. By the time I finished writing this down, I realized I've stopped thinking of it as a one-time thing. It's part of the route now. I still drive that stretch. I still see the lights. And I've stopped trying to catch up.